What are some of the most secret documents that are known to exist? The letter of last resort. In the UK, one of the first things the Prime Minister does on taking office is write a letter of last resort, to be placed in each of the UK's nuclear submarines, that gives instructions to the captain in the event that the government entirely ceases to exist. When a Prime Minister leaves office, their letters are destroyed without ever being opened. I wonder what they did for the Prime Minister whose term was shorter than a submarine rotation. The MI6 HQ building report, or more precisely the budget report covering the costs of the custom construction that has been largely concealed. It's frustrating since it's only partially complete. For example, a significant amount of money was spent on a necessary MI6 tool that was integrated into the structure and advanced technologically for the time. What is the matter? Although it's still classified, you can see the price in a list of items that weren't included because they are listed separately. The letter of last resort. In the UK, one of the first things the Prime Minister does on taking office is write a letter of last resort, to be placed in each of the UK's nuclear submarines, that gives instructions to the captain in the event that the government entirely ceases to exist. When a Prime Minister leaves office, their letters are destroyed without ever being opened. I wonder what they did for the Prime Minister whose term was shorter than a submarine rotation. Some of my favorites are personal notes that people leave for one another at key jobs. It's a known fact that every former president has left a note in the desk for his successor. Some of those would be very interesting to read. Also, it's not uncommon for bands, athletes or artists to leave notes for each other before or after performances at large venues. It would be cool to see some of those, especially because there has to be some unexpected crossovers. The most secret document would be one that not only no one has seen, but one that no one knows exists in the first place. So the most secret document would be the to-do list I wrote in the Notes app on my phone. And also the millions of other pieces of writing that only have meaning to one person. I would like to point out that Christopher Lee's World War II service records are still classified, and the interview with Peter Jackson is probably the most we'll get for a while. Found it interview. KFC and Coca-Cola recipes I heard are extremely well protected. Mormon, Vatican and Church of Scientology also have archives that are very well protected. We know they have all existed, it's just like only a very few number of people have access. After reading through these comments, I thought about George Carlin, who took notes after every show. Maybe his daughter will consider releasing them someday. Turns out Cleveland is okay. New York not so much. Just guessing. The file Nixon was attempting to have stolen from the Watergate building? It documented the treasonous Kissinger-Nixon talks with North Vietnam that killed Johnson's electoral peace plan and prolonged the war by years. WAP UFO reverse engineering. There's thousands upon thousands of pages. House Republicans are currently trying to kill Senator Schumer's bipartisan bill that easily passed the Senate. Go check out our UFOs for more info. John Lennon's FBI file. He claimed that everyone believed he was crazy and that he was being followed in every direction. He was entirely accurate. Nixon was enraged by his potential effect on the nation. The Nixon campaign sabotaged the Vietnam-Paris peace talks in 1968, which prolonged the war and increased the odds of Nixon being elected. The blueprints for creation of specific nuclear warheads. I can't tell you where they hide him though, unless I want to accidentally shoot myself 6 times in the back of the head. Payroll for US informants abroad. Those documents definitely exist, but the actual contents of them is definitely ultra super de duper maximum secret. The Vatican has a ton of scriptures that were never released to the public. Imagine how cool the Bible would be if it had stories about dragons. According to the 2004 documentary National Treasure, there's something pretty important written on the back of the Declaration of Independence. Only sort of relevant, but the Voynich manuscripts could qualify as secret because no one has successfully deciphered them yet. MKUltra and Operation Northwoods. Makes you wonder what other things your crazy, tinfoil beheaded uncle was right about. The Vatican Library and Archives. Very few people have access and they aren't anxious to let anybody in for research. The document, located in an underground vault that grants Redditors the right to ask stupid questions. Documents relating to government spy programs, national defense technology, etc. Coca-Cola formula. The text of the final undeciphered portion of Cryptos, JFK files. Trump saw them, said he was going to classify them and release them but never did. Thousands of documents from World War II were classified and can only be published after 2045. Scotland Yard's investigation into Jack the Ripper is still sealed to the public. Probably the Bush's baked beans recipe or the Colonel's 11 herbs and spices. No such thing. If anyone knew they existed then they wouldn't be a secret. My guess would be missing chapters of the Bible in Vatican Library. The group chat my friends and I have used for the last couple years. If a document is really secret, how would anyone here know about it? I could tell you, but I'd be in violation of significant laws. Epstein Island list. Documents of the CIA assassination of JFK. They really suck at being secret if we know they exist. The embarrassing snapshot of SpongeBob at the Christmas party. If they are secret, then how do we all know they exist? Neutral face. Hold on. Let me look here, next to this golden toilet.